Thank you very much, Dr. Chua.
Yeah.
So today is very interesting. So instead of having a live webinar, because this time around a lot of us are very busy during this month, especially, we are going to have a sort of a pre-recorded session with Dr. Chua on how do we build a team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And how we can actually move forward with it as well at the same time. Right?
Yeah.
One of the many reasons why we are doing this is because we received many feedback. So over the course of the last 3-4 months, we had a few webinars with the Malaysian Smart Factory.
Yeah.
What was interesting is there's a lot of discussion about how to set up a team.
Yeah.
Right? How do we need buy-in as well, from the leadership as well? Or is it necessary that we get someone else to actually help us out, what have you?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of discussions about what is right, what is wrong.
Yeah.
But let's not discuss what is right, what is wrong.
Yeah.
But I suppose let's just discuss what is maybe best for that particular individual company.
Yeah.
Right? So without further ado, so let's start with Dr. Chua.
Yeah.
So Dr. Chua, just a very quick question. So in your years of experience, we're working with the SMEs, and for not only SMEs, but I suppose the MNCs as well.
Yeah.
So how does one actually set up a team? Or how do we build a team to actually implement the smart factory within the company?
Yeah. So thank you, Kenneth, for the session today. I think it's a very good question, especially now with the current times and as digitalization move forward. It's always important for us to see where we will be in the next few years.
Yeah.
Right, and by seeing where we need to be in the next few years, it's also important for us to plan the roadmap well. Right. And this roadmap, usually we talk about, the people-focused strategy. When we have a people-focused strategy, we believe that it usually will be more sustainable.
Okay.
So when we want to select the team of going towards Industry 4.0, we always say that set up a team where the team believes in continuous improvement. Okay. Right? Or usually industries will use this word Kaizen. Right?
Okay.
Kaizen, which is a Toyota production management system kind of framework, or lean management. So having a continuous improvement team or Kaizen team will help to drive the company strategies moving forward. And by meaning of continuous improvement, it means that it doesn't stop where they are. Right? After they implement something, they will validate, they will test, and then it continue to grow. Okay. So Industry 4.0, as what we always see, is not a plug-and-play kind of solution. It's more towards a journey, similar to the other revolutions. It's just that now, with the technology trends and the way the world is moving forward, we feel that Industry 4.0 is a bit more accelerated compared to Industry 1, 2, 3, and so on. So people start to adapt or start to adopt technologies a little bit better. However, there are, of course, some form of concerns as how this technology will actually help improve the ROI in the team. Okay. Right? Okay. So we always start with first leadership buy-in.
Leadership buy-in.
Yeah, leadership buy-in. So having the top management to see the bigger picture and to know how it is all architectured, right, from A to Z, will help them to realize, okay, these are areas where I can improve on, right? And then the second step after that is identifying your team, right? Okay. And then once you identify your team, you need to have a team that is cross-disciplinary.
Cross-disciplinary.
Yeah, cross-disciplinary. That means not just engineering, but you may want to consider as engineering, IT, maybe other technical areas as well, QC, that all forms a team of a continuous improvement, right? Okay. So from there, then companies can start to prioritize which area they want to start first in terms of digitizing or in terms of improvement. Then start with your competency upskilling for your staff and for the team. Because as technology improves, we need to equip them with the right skills, right? And bridge the gaps between the skills for the team, and then start to develop that ambassadors for your company, right? And then follow on by identifying a project. We call it a Lighthouse project. It can be a small project, but when you have a lighthouse, it creates a sort of a beacon of hope for the companies to start to see, okay, this is actually doable, right? We can actually do this, and we can do this not only alone, but we are doing this together as a team. And then slowly from there, they know the complexity, or maybe they know that it's straightforward enough to implement. Then the next thing is to scale. So the last point is always to scale and to continuously improve. Then they can do it step by step.
Interesting. Interesting points you actually pointed out as well. What is interesting, I want to find out from you, right? Is it very important to get leadership buy-in, or is it possible that, say for example, I'm the boss, right? I want to implement smart factory in my office. I just appoint my staff to actually just do it. Do I need to get involved with the implementation of a smart factory in the whole setup?
Okay, understand.
Is it very important?
I think it's very important for the management level to be involved in the process. Not necessarily they need to be doing the actual work of implementing the technology, but being involved by knowing the stages of improvement, identifying the right timelines, providing the right resources for the team to move forward, and identifying the roadblocks will give the top management a point of view of the progression, right? So by being involved, they are more, they are being a part of that journey of Industry 4.0, and I believe the team will also feel that, more motivated for them to continue the projects, even though they hit maybe some small roadblocks. They can still, they know that this is a journey and we are going through it together. So usually having the leaders to be involved in the process is important. That kind of buy-in.
So, but when we say leaders here, it should be from the top management, right?
It should be from top management, or middle management is fine as well. But I think the holistic approach should be from the top to bottom. That everyone is have a clear direction that this is what we want to do. We notice that when we train, sometimes when we train engineers, but if the leadership buy-in is not ready, often a time, when they want to start a project, the priority areas are not there. There's different prioritization. So they may be more busy on certain other projects on hand. So this digitalization is left a bit neglected. Because there's no clear buy-in and direction. But if there's a clear buy-in and direction, there will always be clearer prioritization of areas. So then they will be prioritizing jobs. So one of the case stories that I've seen is that we have trained the individual. They've even bought the hardware, right? But when they went back, they are too busy with other tasks that they couldn't even implement what they wanted to do.
Sorry, Dr. Chua, if I may digress a bit. So if I understand correctly, which means the individual went back to the company, to the factory, basically the job. Although fitted with all the skills that you guys have trained him or her, but because he was too busy with the day-to-day operations in the factory, hence the reason why it was not really implemented.
Correct. It was not fully implemented. But I think once there's a clear leadership buy-in, then there is a priority to do this. Therefore, then this becomes top priority to start. It's just a matter of prioritization, I believe. So because we can always skill up a person, we can give them the right tools, the right competencies. But one thing we need to also provide to them is time for them to do the task. Yes.
Okay, interesting, cool. So now, so we already formed a team. So let's take the same example as just now. So I'm the boss, so I form a team already. So from this team, should we appoint a leader from the team, or should we just leave it as is kind of thing? Or if we do appoint one, then how do we make that team actually? I mean, you already answered it. But just to focus on the team now. I assume the team, you mentioned earlier as well that the team should be across the factory processes. Maybe the IT guys, the production,
maintenance,
and of course the engineers themselves, definitely. So we say, we assume we already have this team.
Yeah.
Right? So would there be a leader, or would there be a need to actually appoint a leader to actually report back to the top leadership, or to the senior management?
Yes, I would definitely suggest to have a leader, because they can be a center point for managing this project. Because when we talk about managing a project, there can be multiple people or individuals coming together to work on something. But to coordinate all this, or to orchestrate this integration and this implementation of the project needs to be there. So therefore, you always need a coordinator or a manager to do this. And then they will liaise with the top management on the progress, on the day-to-day progress. But of course, it will be always important to have bi-weekly or monthly updates direct to the top management together with the whole team, so that everyone is aligned back again in any case that there is some misdirection in between.
Right. So basically, in short, if I understand correctly, then we should have a clear line of communication.
Yes.
Or very open communication where everybody can give feedbacks.
Yes.
Or at least very honest feedbacks about whether it is on track.
Yes.
That's number one for sure. And if we are able to meet those targets that's set by the senior management in general. Okay, interesting, very nice. So in short, I think just to summarize a bit, so we definitely need to have buy-in from the leadership. Then it's easier to actually trickle down to actually create a small team across the company's operations, or the factory's operations in this case. And then of course, eventually from this team, a leader should be appointed. That is also accountable as well.
Yes.
And he should be able to actually have feedbacks, or actually have discussions among the team, including the bosses themselves, to have a clear understanding of what the roadmap is.
Yes.
In this case, it's like creating a roadmap.
Yes, it's creating a roadmap. Yes.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
What's interesting is, so for like a layman, for myself, what I like about this whole thing is actually talking about Lighthouse. So I'm sure that you would also have the same, the viewers would also have the same question. So what do you mean by Lighthouse project? But I think in this case, just to pick off one or two points that you mentioned earlier, Dr. Chua. So in your point, the Lighthouse project is something like a beacon of hope. So if this mini project actually was successful, right, in this case, then you can actually implement it across the whole factory. Correct? With ease now, basically.
With ease.
Alright. Okay.
I think by having a lighthouse is also considered what we call as a proof of concept of how we want to integrate technologies to a particular industry or particular process or manufacturing process. Why we call it a beacon of hope is because many a time when we introduce something new to the factory, or when we want to introduce a new process or even technology, there always is some essence of anxiety or concerns or some form of fear with something new, right? But when we start small, but we think big in the future, we are actually able to create, a small pilot scale, right? And when we have a pilot, people see it from A to Z of how it actually started and how it actually ended up with. So they become more confident working with the technology, working with a new process, and they are immersed in the process because this becomes their own, right? They are involved in this upbringing of the process. So when they are very, very involved, eventually when they want to scale up, they are not so worried anymore. They have more confidence because they know the technology. They don't have that much anxiety because they know how to fix it, how to troubleshoot it in case something happens. So, moving forward, they are more confident to scale up the factory. So this is why we call it the beacon of hope for them.
Actually, what you mentioned just now is like a baby, taking baby steps first.
Baby steps first, yes.
Then after you take baby steps, then you are comfortable with implementing something a bit bigger. Then you can slowly walk and then run.
Correct.
Interesting, very nice.